The text came at 4:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. Mom, family dinner Friday at 6. Bring the kids? We're ordering Chinese. Simple. Direct. No, miss you, or can't wait to see the grandkids. Just logistics. But that was Mom's style, efficient, transactional, like she was coordinating a work meeting instead of inviting her son over. I should have known better. I'm Connor, 32, single dad of 2. My kids are Emma, 8, and Noah, 6. Their mom walked out when Noah was barely talking, said motherhood wasn't her calling. Moved to Portland to find herself, and never looked back. Since then, it's been me, 2 jobs, and a 2-bedroom apartment where the kids share a room decorated with dinosaur posters Noah picked out and fairy lights Emma begged for at Target. My older sister? That's Vanessa, 36. Married to Todd, who works in finance, which I'm pretty sure just means he wears vests and says things like, circle back on that. They have 3 kids, Brooklyn, Madison, and Ashton, names that sound like a luxury apartment complex. Vanessa's kids go to private school. They have matching Patagonia jackets. They take piano, lacrosse, and something called Youth Entrepreneurship Camp. My kids? They take turns picking which streaming service we can afford that month. But I showed up anyway. Because family, right? When I walked into Mom's house Friday night, Vanessa was already there, sprawled on the sectional like she owned the place. Todd stood by the kitchen island scrolling his phone, occasionally nodding at Dad's monologue about riding moors. Connor, Mom said, not getting up. You're late. I checked my watch. 6:04. Traffic. I lied. Well, we're starving, Vanessa said, glancing at her kids lined up like a Williams-Sonoma catalog. We were waiting. Emma and Noah shuffled in behind me, quiet. Noah clutched his stuffed dinosaur, the one with the missing arm. Emma had her hands shoved deep in her jacket pockets. Hi, Grandma, Emma said softly. Mom gave a tight smile. Hello, sweetie. Go sit down. Not a hug. Not even eye contact. Just directions. I felt Noah's hand tighten around mine. Vanessa had her phone out, scrolling through a delivery app like she was shopping for a yacht. Okay, so what does everyone want? She announced. Todd's treating tonight. Todd grunted something that could have been agreement or indigestion. Vanessa turned to her kids first. Brooklyn, honey? Orange chicken and pork fried rice. Brooklyn chirped. Madison? Lo mein and spring rolls. Ashton? Beef and broccoli with extra sauce. She typed it all in like she was taking notes in a boardroom. Then she looked at my kids. For about half a second. Before looking right past them. Mom, what do you want? Vanessa asked. I blinked. Wait. Mom waved her hand. Oh, just get me the sesame chicken. Light on the sauce. Dad? Kung Pao shrimp. I cleared my throat. What about Emma and Noah? Vanessa didn't even look up from her phone. My kids, I said slower this time. What do they want? She glanced at them like she just noticed furniture had been rearranged. Oh. She smiled, the kind of smile you give a stranger's dog. Well, there's leftovers in the fridge. They can have that. I laughed. Because surely she was joking. She wasn't. Wait, what? Mom set her wine glass down with a clink. Connor, we're ordering for the adults. The kids can eat what's in the kitchen. My kids are kids, I said. Well, yes, Mom said slowly, like I was being difficult. But Vanessa's children are guests. I felt the air leave my lungs. Noah looked up at me, confused. Emma stared at her shoes. They're your grandkids, I said. Mom sighed, the kind of sigh she used to do when I'd ask for help with homework as a kid. Connor, don't make this a thing. I'm not making it a thing. I'm asking why my kids don't get to order food. Vanessa jumped in, voice saccharine. It's just that we're paying, Connor. And you know, we didn't plan for extra. Extra? Well, yeah. She shrugged. We knew you were coming. But you bring them every time, and it adds up. I stared at her. Then at Mom. Then at Dad, who was suddenly very interested in his phone. They're 8 and 6. And they can eat leftovers, Mom said coolly. There's chicken in the fridge. Maybe some pasta. They'll be fine. She said it like she was doing me a favor. Like my kids were an inconvenience, she was graciously accommodating. Emma tugged my sleeve. Dad, it's okay. I'm not that hungry. That broke something in me. Not anger. Not yet. Just clarity. I pulled out my phone. Opened the voice recorder. Hit record. And slipped it back in my pocket, screen side down. So let me get this straight, I said, calm as I could manage. Vanessa's kids get to order whatever they want. But mine get leftovers? It's not like that, Vanessa said, annoyed now. Then what's it like? Mom's jaw tightened. Connor, you're being dramatic. I'm being dramatic? Yes. She folded her arms. You show up here expecting us to feed your children like we're running a charity. I felt Noah's hand slip into mine again. They're your grandchildren. And they're your responsibility. Mom snapped. Maybe if you'd kept your marriage together, you wouldn't need us to pick up the slack. The room went silent. Even Vanessa looked uncomfortable. Todd cleared his throat and walked out of the room entirely. I stood there, hand on my phone in my pocket, making sure it was still recording. So that's what this is about, I said quietly. Mom didn't answer. Just turned back to the counter and poured more wine. Vanessa busied herself with her phone. Okay, order's in. Should be here in 20. I looked down at Emma and Noah, both of them staring at the floor. Come on, guys, I said. Let's go. Connor, Mom started. We're leaving. Don't be ridiculous. You just got here. I didn't answer. Just took my kids' hands and walked out the front door. As I buckled Noah into his booster seat, I could hear Vanessa through the open door, voice raised. God, he's so sensitive. I pulled out my phone. Stopped the recording. 38 minutes. Crystal clear audio. Every word. I sat in the driver's seat for a moment, staring at the file. Emma leaned forward from the back seat. Dad, are we in trouble? No, sweetheart, I said. You're not in trouble. Then why did Grandma say that? I looked at her in the rearview mirror. Her big eyes, worried and confused. Because sometimes, I said, people forget how to be kind. But that's not your fault. Noah hugged his dinosaur tighter. Can we get McDonald's? I smiled. Yeah, buddy. We can get McDonald's. And as I pulled out of the driveway, I glanced one more time at that recording on my phone. I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet. But I knew I wasn't going to let this go. Not this time. The McDonald's parking lot was nearly empty. Just us, a minivan with a bumper sticker that said, My kid's an honor student. And a guy in a Tesla charging his phone. Emma got a Happy Meal. Noah got chicken nuggets shaped like dinosaurs, which he declared the best thing ever invented. I got a black coffee and sat there watching them dip fries in ketchup like it was a science experiment. For a moment, everything felt normal. Then my phone buzzed. Vanessa, really, Connor? You just left? I stared at the message. Took a sip of burnt coffee. Didn't reply. Another buzz. Vanessa, Mom's upset. You embarrassed her in front of everyone. I laughed out loud. Noah looked up, confused. Nothing, buddy. Eat your dinos. I typed back. Me, she embarrassed herself. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Vanessa, you're being childish. Me, and you're being complicit. The dots stopped. I locked my phone and looked at Emma, who was picking at her apple slices like she didn't have an appetite anymore. You okay, Em? She shrugged. Why doesn't Grandma like us? My chest tightened. She likes you. I lied. No, she doesn't. Emma's voice was small but certain. She likes Brooklyn and Madison and Ashton. She doesn't like us. Noah stopped mid-nugget. Did we do something bad? I wanted to tell them no. That it wasn't their fault. That people are complicated and families are messy and sometimes love looks different depending on who's standing in the room. But the truth was my mom played favorites, and my kids were old enough to notice. Listen to me. I said, leaning forward. You two didn't do anything wrong. Not one thing. You hear me? Emma nodded, but I could see she didn't believe it. Grandma's just. I paused, searching for words that wouldn't sound like excuses. She's just not good at showing love equally. But that's her problem. Not yours. Noah tilted his head. So we're not going back? Not for a while. Good, he said. Then went back to his nuggets like the conversation was over. I wished I could do the same. That night, after the kids were asleep, I sat on the edge of my futon couch and listened to the recording again. Every word was there. Vanessa asked her kids what they wanted. The silence when it was Emma and Noah's turn. Mom's voice. Connor, don't make this a thing. And then the kicker. Maybe if you'd kept your marriage together, you wouldn't need us to pick up the slack. I played it 3 times. Each time, it stung a little less and made me a little angrier. Not the explosive kind of anger. The cold kind. The kind that sits in your chest and calcifies into resolve. I opened Facebook. Hovered over the Create Post button. Then closed the app. Not yet. Saturday morning, I got a call from Dad. Connor. Hey, Dad. Your mother's upset. I know. She thinks you overreacted. I laughed, bitter. Of course she does. Look, son. Dad, did you hear what she said to me? What did she say about Emma and Noah? Silence. Dad? She was frustrated. You know how she gets. That's not an excuse. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, maybe you could have handled it differently. How? I asked. By letting my kids sit there while Vanessa's kids got takeout and mine got scraps. It wasn't scraps. It was leftovers, Dad. Cold pasta and chicken from 3 days ago. While their cousins ordered fresh food. More silence. She didn't mean it like that, he finally said. Yes, she did. He sighed. What do you want me to say, Connor? I want you to say it was wrong. I want you to say you should have stood up for your grandkids. He trailed off. Yeah, I said. That's what I thought. I hung up. By Sunday, the group chat was alive. Vanessa, can we all just move past this? It's getting ridiculous. Aunt Linda, what happened? Vanessa, Connor threw a tantrum because we didn't order food for his kids. Aunt Linda, oh my. Mom, he embarrassed me in my own home. Uncle Greg, sounds like there's 2 sides to this. Vanessa, there's really not. I watched the messages roll in, each one rewriting history a little more. By the time they were done, I was the villain. The ungrateful son who caused a scene over nothing. I took a screenshot of the group chat. Then I opened the recording again. And this time, I didn't hesitate. I posted it on Facebook at 9:47 p.m. on Sunday night. No long caption. No essay. Just, this is how my family treats my children. And I attached the audio file. 38 minutes of unfiltered, unedited truth. I tagged everyone. Mom. Dad. Vanessa. Todd. Aunt Linda. Uncle Greg. Every single person who'd been in that group chat, rewriting what happened. Then I hit post. And I turned off my phone. I woke up Monday morning to 217 notifications. I thought it was a glitch. It wasn't. The post had been shared 1,200 times. People I hadn't talked to in years were commenting. Friends, acquaintances, random people from high school I barely remembered. This is heartbreaking. Those poor babies. Your mom said what? I would have lost it. Someone made a TikTok using clips of the audio. It had 40,000 views. By noon, the post had 3,400 shares. By 3 p.m., it was 8,900. Local mom groups were reposting it. Parenting forums. Reddit threads. Someone sent me a link to a Twitter account called @FamilyDramity that had posted a summary with the caption. Grandma said they could eat scraps. This man recorded the whole thing. That tweet had 25,000 likes. I sat on my couch, staring at my phone, watching the number climb. Emma walked into the living room, rubbing her eyes. Dad? Why is your phone buzzing so much? I locked the screen. Nothing, sweetie. Go get ready for school. But it wasn't nothing. By the time I dropped the kids off at school and got to work, the post had hit 15,000 shares. And my phone was ringing. Mom calling. I let it go to voicemail. Vanessa calling. Voicemail. Dad calling. Voicemail. Unknown number calling. I picked up. Hello? Hi, is this Connor? Yeah? This is Jessica from Channel 9 News. We saw your Facebook post and we'd love to talk to you about what happened. Would you be available for an interview? I blinked. I'll think about it. Great. Here's my number. I hung up. Then I opened Facebook again. The post was still climbing. 17,000 shares now. And the comments? Thousands. People were angry. People were heartbroken. People were tagging their own families and saying, "This is what you sound like." But the ones that hit hardest? The ones from other parents. I've been that kid. Thank you for standing up for yours. This brought me to tears. My mom did the same thing to my kids. You're a good dad. Don't let anyone tell you different. I closed the app. Sat there for a minute. And then I smiled. Because for the first time in years, I didn't feel invisible. I felt heard. By Monday evening, the post had 22,000 shares. And my mom? She deleted her Facebook. But it was too late. Screenshots were everywhere. Her name. Her face. Her voice on that recording, saying those words. The internet doesn't forget. And neither would I. Tuesday morning started normally enough. I made Emma and Noah pancakes, the frozen kind you microwave because I'm not that kind of dad. Noah drowned his in syrup. Emma ate hers plain and asked if we could get a dog someday. Maybe, I said, which is dad speak for. Ask me again in 5 years. I dropped them off at school, waved as they disappeared into the building, and checked my phone. 127 new notifications. The post was at 31,000 shares now. I scrolled through the comments. Most were supportive. Some were vicious, people calling my mom every name in the book. A few were from people I actually knew. My old coworker Steve. Dude. This is insane. I'm so sorry. My high school friend Jenna. Your mom always gave me weird vibes. Now I know why. And then, buried in the replies, I saw one that made my stomach drop. Just so everyone knows, this woman works at Maplewood Elementary as a guidance counselor. Really makes you wonder how she treats the kids there. I stared at it. Then I clicked on the profile. Some random account with 14 followers and a profile picture of a sunset. But the comment had 400 likes. And people were replying. Wait, she's a guidance counselor? I'd pull my kid out of that school so fast. Someone should report her. I closed the app. This was escalating faster than I'd expected. By lunchtime, I had 6 missed calls from numbers I didn't recognize. Then one I did. Vanessa. I let it ring. She called again. I answered. What? Connor, you need to take that post down. I almost laughed. No. People are attacking Mom. They're calling her work. Do you know what you've done? I posted the truth. You posted a recording without her consent. It's legal in our state. One-party consent. I checked. Silence. Then, you're ruining her life over a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? I said, voice rising. She told my kids to eat leftovers while yours got takeout. She said I should have kept my marriage together. That's not a misunderstanding, Vanessa. That's cruelty. She was having a bad day. And my kids were just trying to exist. Vanessa's voice cracked. Connor, please. She's getting death threats. That stopped me. Death threats? Yes. People are messaging her horrible things. Someone posted her address online. Dad's scared. We're all scared. I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, trying to process that. I didn't want that. I wanted accountability. I wanted them to see what they'd done. But death threats? That's not on me, I said quietly. I didn't tell anyone to do that. But you started it. No, I said. Mom started it when she treated my kids like they didn't matter. And I hung up. That night, Emma asked me a question that hit harder than I expected. Dad, are we famous? I was washing dishes. She was sitting at the tiny kitchen table coloring a picture of a dragon. What? No. Why? A girl at school said she saw something about us online. She said Grandma was mean to us. I turned off the water, dried my hands, sat down across from her. What did you say? Emma shrugged. I said I didn't know what she was talking about. But then 2 other kids said they saw it too. And Mrs. Parker asked me if everything was okay at home. My chest tightened. What did you tell her? I said yes. Was that wrong? No, sweetie. You didn't do anything wrong. She went back to coloring, but I could see the worry in her eyes. Noah walked in holding his dinosaur. Dad, can we call Grandma? Not right now, buddy. Why not? I didn't know how to answer that. How do you explain to a 6-year-old that his grandmother chose favorites and he lost? That the internet took your pain and turned it into a wildfire you couldn't control? Because we're taking a break from Grandma, I finally said. Is it because of the food thing? I nodded. Good, he said. She was mean. And then he walked back to his room like that settled it. I wished it were that simple. Wednesday, the call came. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Hello? Is this Connor Hayes? Yeah? This is Principal Davison from Maplewood Elementary. I'm calling regarding a situation involving your mother, Patricia Hayes. My stomach dropped. What kind of situation? We've received multiple complaints from parents about a recording circulating online. As you may know, your mother works here as a guidance counselor. Given the nature of the comments and the public attention this has garnered, we've placed her on administrative leave pending an investigation. I didn't know what to say. Mr. Hayes? I'm here. We're not making any final decisions yet. But I wanted you to be aware that this has become a matter of concern for our school community. Parents are asking questions. Some have requested their children be reassigned to different counselors. Okay. I don't know what happened between you and your mother, but this has created a very difficult situation for us. I hope you understand. I do. Thank you. Have a good day. She hung up. I sat there, staring at my phone. Mom was on leave. Because of me. Because of a post. Because I'd finally had enough. I should have felt guilty. But I didn't. I felt tired. Thursday, Dad called. I almost didn't answer. But I figured I owed him that much. Connor. Hey, Dad. Your mother lost her job. I heard. She's on leave. They're letting her go. They called this morning. Said it was a mutual separation. Silence. You did this, he said. No. She did this. I just made people aware. You humiliated her. She humiliated my kids. They're children. They'll forget about this in a week. No, Dad, I said, voice steady. They won't. Because they'll remember the feeling. They'll remember that their grandmother looked at them and decided they weren't worth ordering food for. That sticks. He didn't respond. Did you ever stand up for them? I asked. That night, or any night? Did you ever tell Mom she was wrong? She's my wife. And they're your grandchildren. More silence. I can't do this, he finally said. Yeah, I said. I know. And I hung up. By Friday, the post had 48,000 shares. News outlets were picking it up. Grandmother's shocking treatment of grandchildren goes viral. Local parenting blogs were dissecting it. Reddit threads with thousands of comments. A TikTok with 2 million views. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Interview requests. Friend requests. Messages from strangers telling me I was brave, or that I was cruel, or that they'd been through the same thing. I turned off notifications. Deleted the Facebook app. And sat on my couch with a beer I didn't really want. Emma and Noah were asleep. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the distant sound of traffic outside. I'd wanted this. I'd wanted people to see what happened. To validate that it was wrong. To hear me. And they had. But now? Now my mom was unemployed. My family wasn't speaking to me. My kids were getting questions at school. And I was sitting in the dark wondering if I'd gone too far. I pulled up the post one last time, read through the comments, and saw one that made me stop. My mom did this to my kids for years. I never said anything. I wish I had. Thank you for giving me the courage to set boundaries. I read it twice. Then a third time. And I realized something. This wasn't just about me. It wasn't just about Emma and Noah. It was about every kid who'd been made to feel less than. Every parent who'd been gaslit into thinking they were overreacting. Every person who'd been told to keep the peace while they were being disrespected. I didn't start this to ruin my mom's life. But I wasn't going to apologize for ending my silence either. I finished the beer, turned off my phone, and went to bed. Tomorrow, I'd figure out what came next. But tonight I let myself rest. 3 weeks later, the internet had mostly moved on. The post was still up. Still sitting at 52,000 shares. But the comments had slowed to a trickle. The news cycle had shifted to someone else's drama. The TikToks had been buried under newer content. My phone stopped buzzing every 5 seconds. Life somehow kept going. Emma and Noah adjusted. Kids are resilient like that. They stopped asking about grandma. Stopped asking when we'd go back to her house. When Emma's friend at school asked about it again, she just said, "We don't really talk to them anymore," and moved on to talking about her book report. Simple as that. I wished I could do the same. The first Saturday of the new month, I took the kids to the park. It was one of those perfect fall days, crisp air, leaves crunching underfoot, the kind of weather where you can wear a hoodie and not feel too hot or too cold. Noah was on the swings. Emma was reading on a bench nearby, legs tucked under her. And I was just sitting there, watching them, thinking about how much had changed in 3 weeks. My phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. "Hi, Connor. This is Cheryl, your mom's sister. Can we talk?" I stared at it. And Cheryl. The one who lived 2 states away and only showed up for major holidays. The one who sent Christmas cards with generic messages and $50 checks. I almost didn't respond. But something made me type back. "About what?" 3 dots. "About your mom." "And what happened?" "I'm in town. Can I buy you a coffee?" I glanced at Emma and Noah. Both occupied. Both safe. "Okay. When?" "Now if you're free. There's a place called Rooted on 5th Street. I knew it. 10 minutes away. "Give me 20 minutes. Cheryl was already there when I walked in. She looked older than I remembered, grayer, thinner, wearing a cardigan that looked like it came from a catalog for people who garden. She waved me over. I sat down, awkward. We'd never been close. She was more of a Christmas card relative than someone I'd call in a crisis. "Thanks for meeting me," she said. "Not sure what there is to talk about." She smiled, sad. "I figured you'd say that." A barista brought over 2 coffees. I hadn't ordered yet, but apparently Cheryl had. "Black, right?" she said. I nodded. Took a sip. It was good. "I listened to the recording," she said. I didn't respond. "And I read the comments. Watch the news coverage. All of it." "Okay." She leaned forward. "Connor, I'm not here to defend your mother." That surprised me. "I'm here because I need you to know something. And I should have told you years ago." I set down my coffee. "Your mom, she's always been like this. Playing favorites. Making people feel small. I grew up with her." "I know. Then why didn't you say anything?" "Because I moved away. Because I didn't want the drama. Because it was easier to send cards and pretend everything was fine." She paused. "I was a coward." I didn't argue. "When I saw that post," she continued, "I called her. Asked her what happened. And you know what she said?" "What?" "She said you were overreacting. That you were trying to make her look bad because you're bitter about your divorce." I laughed. "Bitter?" Of course she did. I told her she was wrong. That what she said to your kids was cruel. That she owed you an apology. And? She hung up on me. I wasn't surprised. Cheryl sighed. I'm not asking you to forgive her. I'm not even asking you to talk to her. I just wanted you to know that you're not crazy. You're not overreacting. And what you did, posting that recording, it was brave. It cost her her job. She cost herself her job. The second she treated your kids like they didn't matter, she made a choice. You just made sure people knew about it. I looked out the window. Watched people walk by with their dogs and their lattes and their problems I'd never know about. Do you regret it? She asked. I thought about it. About the death threats. The news coverage. The way my kids had to hear about it at school. About my mom, unemployed and angry. About my dad, silent and complicit. About Vanessa, rewriting history in the group chat. No, I said finally. I don't. Cheryl smiled. Good. Because you shouldn't. She slid an envelope across the table. What's this? Something I should have done a long time ago. I opened it. Inside was a check. For $2,000. Cheryl. It's not charity. It's an apology. For not being there when you needed family. For staying silent. For letting your mom get away with this for so long. I stared at the check. I can't take this. Yes, you can. Use it for the kids. Or for yourself. Or save it. I don't care. Just take it. I folded the envelope. Slipped it in my pocket. Thank you? Don't thank me. Just keep being the dad you are. Those kids are lucky to have you. We finished our coffee. Talked about small things. Her garden. Noah's dinosaur obsession. Emma's love of reading. It was nice. Normal. When we left, she hugged me. A real hug. Not the stiff, obligatory kind you give at funerals. If you ever need anything, she said, call me. I mean it. And I believed her. That night, I made spaghetti for dinner. The cheap kind, with Jared sauce and pre-grated Parmesan that comes in a plastic shaker. Emma set the table. Noah filled the water cups and only spilled one. We sat together, the three of us, in our cramped little kitchen with the wobbly table and the stain on the wall I kept meaning to paint over. Dad? Emma said. Yeah? Are we okay? I looked at her. Then at Noah. Both of them watching me with those big, trusting eyes. Yeah, we're okay. Promise? Promise. And I meant it. Because we were. Not perfect. Not rich. Not living in a house with matching Patagonia jackets and piano lessons. But we were okay. We had each other. We had spaghetti. We had a roof and heat and a futon couch that folded into something almost comfortable. And we had boundaries. That night, after the kids were asleep, I pulled out my phone. Opened Facebook for the first time in days. Looked at the post one more time. 52,847 shares. Thousands of comments. And one notification that made me pause. A message request from someone I didn't know. I opened it. Hi Connor. I'm a single dad too. My mom did something similar to my kids last year. I stayed silent. Seeing your posts made me realize I don't have to. I set boundaries with her last week. Thank you for giving me the courage. You're not alone. I read it twice. Then I replied. You're not alone either. Stay strong. I closed the app. Looked around my apartment. At the toys scattered on the floor. The drawings taped to the fridge. The pile of laundry I'd been ignoring for 3 days. This was my life now. No family dinners with people who didn't respect me. No guilt trips. No walking on eggshells. Just me and my kids. Building something better. Something honest. And for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. 2 months later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just my name, handwritten in cursive I recognized instantly. Mom. I almost threw it away. But curiosity got the better of me. Inside was a single piece of paper. Connor. I'm writing this because I don't think you'll take my call. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even know if I deserve that. What I said that night was wrong. How I treated Emma and Noah was wrong. I let favoritism cloud my judgment, and I hurt people I should have protected. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know that I heard you. And I'm sorry. Mom. I read it 3 times. It wasn't perfect. It didn't undo the damage. It didn't erase the years of being second best. But it was something. I folded the letter. Put it in a drawer. Didn't respond. Maybe one day I would. But not today. Today, I had kids to feed. A life to build. Boundaries to keep. And that was enough.